look, we should help refugees, but you need to have a plan. You must have a plan if you want to help people. And in 2015, we didn't have a plan.
So we're taking the train to a small town called Linköping to meet with Mustafa. This guy is a former cop who now works with youth, refugee youth, migrant youth, helping them integrate and getting them on the right track. We've heard some really sad things and interesting things about integration, so I don't know. It'll definitely be worth hearing what he has to say. It's very beautiful, but it's also snowing on us. I think we found the library. It says Landsbibliotek. No, it says Biblioteket.
Yeah, I know. Have you been sleeping?
Nope.
When we can. Power naps are our best friend now.
In 2015, Sweden took lots of migrants and refugees, and I was one of the few cops, police officers in Sweden with Afghan heritage. So many of the refugees, migrants were young men without fathers and mothers, and a big, large majority were from Afghanistan, where I'm from. So I thought, look, maybe I could do something here. I could travel around Sweden and meet these young men, kids, and tell them about Sweden, what it means to live in a democracy, a secular society, basic values, norms, the constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, equality between genders. So this is what I've been doing for the last year. When you're talking about these issues, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, everybody thinks it's great. You have freedom of speech, equality between genders. That's why we came to Sweden. But then, you say, okay, that freedom of speech also means that we can criticize ideas, religions. Then something happens. Wait a second, you can criticize my religion? Yeah, that's also freedom of speech, Now, you don't have to be a racist or a xenophobe to be worried about this. That look, we have taken in people from some cultures that really think that drawing a wrong cartoon should be penalized. So I just talk with them. We have a conversation, and there's friction, but you have the conversation, and they understand. The majority understand because they're youth, they're young men. They want to know. But there are some people who say, "Listen, if you want to keep talking about my religion, I will leave the lecture." And I just tell them, "Look, it's a free country. You can leave the lecture." But you have to understand that if you're not interested in freedom of speech, which is a constitution in Sweden, you will have a hard time being a part of our society. And I'm not saying this to be cruel, this is the truth. And look, by the way, this is not something that only migrants and refugees need information. Also Swedes needs to understand. Because there are Swedes who say, listen, we shouldn't talk about people's culture, about their religion. They get offended. We shouldn't criticize, leave them alone. But what they don't understand is that what does that argument say about these people? It says that these people are angry, easily offended, and they might kill you. So we should respect them. This is, I call this the soft bigotry of low expectations. Because what you basically are saying is that, Jews and and Christians, Buddhists, they are grown-ups. We can talk about their religion, culture, but not a certain other group, because they might be offended. And so my basic, what I want to say is that, look, we should expect not less and not more of the people we take in our country. It should be the same expectations.
We've interviewed some politicians who just say to us, oh, we don't want to talk about culture or origin. How could you do that? Or they say that they don't like that, or it's immoral. What would you say to these politicians? They seem to be avoiding discussing these issues.
Well, but at the same time, they do talk about, Swedish culture and say bad things about that, or other people's culture. We need to come together and understand that there's a reality, that culture matters. Afghanistan, where I come from, it's one of the most dangerous places for a woman to live in for the last decades. So when we take young men from Afghanistan, if we think that just when they put their foot in Sweden, they just forget their norms and values from Afghanistan, we are kind of naive. So we should talk about this.
Are you still a police officer?
I'm not. So I resigned for 2 months ago because I wanted to do this job in a police uniform, but it wasn't possible, so I had to resign. So I'm doing this on my own.
So let me ask you, while you were a police officer, and even today, sexual assault and rape has gone up. Did you see more of this as a cop? And now, in the work that you do with integration, do you see anything of the sort amongst the young men that are coming here?
We have had some issues in our swimming pools, in our concerts at the summer, with these kind of... it is a new phenomena where young men in group are harassing young girls or women. There's no reports of this in Sweden before. And I always say this, the majority of these young men I meet are fantastic. They want to learn about Swedish culture, they want to learn the language, they want to open companies. They're good people, but you have a minority, a clique, but it is a significant clique who does significant crimes, and it has significant consequences in society. So I'm trying to have two dialogues at the same time to show the good parts, because look, they are fantastic, they want to do stuff, but we also have some issues. We can have two thoughts in our head at the same time. But this has not been possible in Sweden for decades now. We are so afraid to say that everybody's bad, so we don't want to talk about the problem at all. So we just, you should be silent. This is my view. So we have to say, look, this is the reality. The reality is not Donald Trump on Fox News, but the reality is not either the Swedish politician who say everything is fine. The truth is somewhere in the middle, and we have to find that middle ground, and then we can do something about it. I think that people have been longing for this discussion. I think that in Sweden we have always thought that if good integration is jobs and a home, then you're finished. Well, I disagree. I think it's more. It's more about values and norms, that you understand the constitution, the basic laws in Sweden. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion. If you understand these things, you will much easier be a part of the society. Look, I come from a Muslim family. I celebrate Eid. I fast. Sometimes, but no, I don't pray 5 times a day. Maybe you could say I have a traditional Muslim, but no, I'm a part of a secular society, and yeah.
Have any of the people who have come here that you've met been apprehensive that maybe you're not as devout as they are?
So I only meet the young men, the youth, and they're curious. they want to know about society. They are in an age where their norms and values is not 100%, so you can talk to them. I think it's more difficult with grown-ups. So no, it has happened because they look at me and they say, look, he's a police officer, he's well integrated in society. And at the same time I say, listen, homosexuality is not a sin, it's a natural part of the selection, the evolution. And they can say, whoa, but you're from Afghanistan, you should think that it's a sin like I do. Well, no, I don't. And we have a dialogue. It's amazing, it's incredible.
So now the harder political question. Do you think that Sweden can handle the amount of refugees they've brought in so far?
Well, then you have to ask the question, have we succeeded with the integration process before 2015? And if you say yes, then you're not really a part of the reality, because we have some issues. Look, we have to be honest, we have some issues. But if we start to talk about these issues and say, look, we have some problems. Yes, of course I think. This is what I'm doing now. If I wouldn't believe that we can succeed, I wouldn't be doing this. This is why I'm doing this.
Do you think Sweden has a moral obligation to just take in as many refugees as possible?
Look, we should help refugees, but you need to have a plan. You must have a plan if you want to help people. And in 2015, we didn't have a plan. When I started to calling these cities in Stockholm 1 year ago and said, listen, I'm a police officer in Sweden, I can come and meet these kids and give them information about the laws and values and attitudes. They said, listen, right now we're trying to find them homes and food and beds. We don't have time for integration. So you just have to wait. And it shouldn't be like that. You should give them proper information in the beginning. And that didn't happen in 2015.
Donald Trump was making reference to a perceived increase in crime in Sweden. Do you think he was right to say that Sweden has crime due to their immigration?
There was a study in 2005 that migrants or people with other heritage were more overrepresented, but there haven't been any studies since that. So the problem now is that people are speculating. So maybe we need another report.
We spoke with the mayor of Södertälje. She said, I just don't want to think that way.
Well, I saw that interview when she said that, and that is what we have been doing for the last decades. And at the same time, we are wondering why some, far-right parties are being larger and larger. And if we don't understand that, we need to wake up. Look, there's a way forward. But we have to be united and we have to agree on what the reality is, because right now it's too polarized. There is the Fox News and Donald Trump version, and there is the other version that everything is fine, we have no problems, but the truth is in the middle. So you can go and find this report, and it's NOA, it's the police, and you can see the numbers from the swimming pool area, and look, these are official stats. And once again, it's a minority. It's a minority who are doing this, but we have some issues. We have to. That kind of sexual assault's a new phenomenon in Sweden. Maybe we should have an honest conversation about that. Yeah, I could show you now if you want.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
translate and say, look, this is what it says.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
And then you can double check it from another source. This is when the sexual assaults were like the hottest in 2015. So this is a report from police. You can see the date there. So they did 2011, 12, 13, 15. So this is swimming pools. Mm-hmm. You can see 2011 and 2014, there were 38 cases reported to the police, and 2015, 123. public places, streets and parks.
Wow.
So 319.
So it's up.
This is what the police says.
Yeah.
So you can look at, okay, so 100 on the swimming pools,
Yeah.
123. Okay, so who are the suspects? You can see here. That 80% of the suspects in these cases were young men, without parents, that didn't have the social security number or personnummer.
Really?
Yeah, so I can look at these numbers and say, I cannot deny this. There's a problem.
Yeah.
But once again, 123 cases, we took in 35,000 young men. It's a minority. It's a minority. It's not even 1%. But there is a problem.
Yeah. Why can't they just be honest about it? And then we can say, okay, we know there's a lot of good people here, and we know that there's some bad people. Let's deal with it.
Because we have been so afraid to send out the messages, or the message that every refugee is bad, or at least we think that the people in Sweden will think that, and that says something about the people in Sweden, because the politicians are basically saying they're stupid, so we cannot go out with this information they don't understand.
Maybe it's time to stop underestimating the intelligence of the Swedish people.
Yeah. But you can look at the Worldview survey that Sweden has like the least racist country in Sweden in the world. You can see the surveys. We have racism in Sweden, of course we have, but we can talk about issues. I mean, these numbers, the police made them. I cannot deny that.
When the police say that the suspects are 80% young men without social security numbers, there's a correlation between them and the refugees.
You cannot deny that.
Yeah.
Then you can say, okay, so which year did they came? Did they came 2011 or 20? I don't know, but that's what the report says. We talk about specific problems because the way that this happened in the swimming pools and the concerts, it's men in group surrounding young women, and look. This is a new phenomenon in Sweden. We have always had sexual assaults in Sweden. This is not something new. But this phenomenon is something new.
Yeah.
So we should talk about specific problems.
So your work, it's helping these young men integrate better, and maybe will help deal with some of this.
I talk about this. I have an honest discussion with the young men about this, and they say this is horrible. And they tell me, are you deporting these people who are doing this? Because they are fucking things up for us. I want to go to the swimming pool and swim. I want to go to the concert and listen to music. Now I can't because these idiots are doing this. Are you deporting them? I don't know what to say to that. So let's remember, when these numbers, these stats, it affects first it affects the young women who get surrounded by these young men. You know who it affects later? The young men who are just doing fine in Sweden, the young refugees, who just want to go and swim, who want to go to concert, listen to music. They are being affected by this, by we not talking and having an honest discussion.
It just annoys me because honesty can get you really far. When you acknowledge the issues, then you can find, you can protect the people who are good. But when you lie about it, people get freaked out.
Yeah.
They don't trust you anymore, and it just creates political turmoil. I feel bad for the kids you're talking about who say that they just want to go swimming, they want to go to concerts, they want to live. Because the more dishonest everyone is about things like this, you're right, it's going to make everyone distrustful. It's going to create these situations where I'm here because Donald Trump sees a documentary on TV. Just be honest. Just please be honest.
Just be honest.
Yeah.
That is, that is the solution. There are lots of success stories with refugees and migrants who are doing very, very well in Sweden. We should report that.
Aren't you one of them?
Well, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, probably. I hope so, because these kids are listening to me.
But I mean, you know, you came here. You're a cop. You're now a role model for a lot of these kids. I think you are a really good success story.
I hope so. And I'm trying to, do something here. But just be honest.
Yeah. It's fascinating to meet. I mean, he was a cop, and he decided that he could do good, and he's doing good. He's actually talking about the problems. He's being fair to the people. He's not blaming everybody, but he's doing something about it. We're gonna get on the train. We're gonna get the hell out of here. So, like always, make sure you click the like button, because apparently that's important. You can share the video if you like this. We've got a lot more coming, and I'm gonna keep making videos every single day. We have more interviews from Sweden. We haven't published yet. Those will be coming soon too. Stay tuned for more videos every day. Subscribe to the channel and comment below. Let me know what you think. I will see you all tomorrow.